This is an RNZ podcast.
I'm sitting with Louis and Marina at Tongariro Crossing Lodge, who they'd contacted me. Well, how long ago was that, Louis? You sent me a message on Facebook.
Months ago. I think it was October maybe, or even September.
You must have wondered, is this guy real? Is this some sort of Facebook scam going on here? But I've finally made it, and it's been such a pleasure to kind of catch up, because I feel like I have been mucking people around, who had contacted me. Just quickly give me an introduction to yourself, and then Marina, you give me an introduction to yourself in terms of what brought you here and the how you came to be together.
So I'm from South Africa originally and moved to New Zealand in 2001. I lived in Auckland, and 7 years ago met Marina. Then worked in the IT world in Auckland, big corporate world, and decided we needed a break and bought this lodge here in National Park just over a year ago. And
how long have you been in New Zealand, Marina?
18 years, so just 1 year before Louis came here, I guess. Yeah, so in 2000.
So you have two children. One was born in Russia, one here in New Zealand.
So,
And now you have another generation here as well, I believe, because I've met them.
So 6 years ago, my Russian parents came to New Zealand, so relocated and made that brave move, just packed everything up in 2 suitcases and started a new life in New Zealand with us. Yeah, so they've lived in Auckland with us for 5-6 years, and then moved here to National Park, representing the biggest Russian community in the area.
So now, in terms of the family business, had you had anything to do with that before you came here?
No, we'd never done anything in this field before, business-wise, but it's always something we wanted to do, and had a passion for travelling and meeting people from around the world.
So when you take, because you guys are not old, what age bracket are you?
40s, we're in our
Early 40s.
Yep.
So you made this major decision in your lives, not only to relocate geographically, but also massive shift in terms of your careers. How's it been in that year? Have you regretted? Have you never looked back? What's the story?
I wouldn't say we've never looked back. You obviously look back where you've come from. There are moments where you're getting up at 5:30 to make someone a breakfast for 6 a.m. and then that same night you're waiting for someone to arrive at 11 o'clock at night, and you're wondering, what the hell am I doing?
what have we done?
But then you go on Facebook or Twitter. I use Twitter a lot, and you see all these people up in Auckland struggling to get into the work and traffic and talking about how busy it is, and you just think, well, this is a beautiful place to be. You look out the window and you can see Ruapehu, you can see Mount Narahoe, and then you realise we've done the right thing.
So when we've got days off, they're real days off. We don't do any admin, we don't do any shopping. We just go on a bike ride, or we go hiking and we explore beautiful areas. So it's just that's one of the other many reasons why we never looked back.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, long may you reign here in your newfound home. Yeah, welcome to New Zealand, both of you. Thank you.
It is 5:30 a.m. Saturday the 3rd of February. I'm walking along one of the streets of National Park. I had to hang in here, went for a good walk with Sasha, Marina's daughter, to Tupapakuru track to the waterfall, right down to the waterfall. Used to about 2.5 hours, 2.75 hours. It's meant to take about 5 hours or something. So it was a good walk. Full moon up there, just about a full moon. And I'm heading up to meet one of the shuttles that heads on out to Get to Tahi Road, this shuttle that will drop people off at the standard place for Tongariro, and then they'll take me on out to where they go and meet the people who are finishing the crossing. A little bit anxious about this actually, Tongariro Crossing. Such a renowned climb, and again, I've heard the only reason I'm doing it is today, this is the only day that there was one campsite left in the Magnificence hut. Only one site left in the campground. So I'll be there, get to Magnificence hut today, slog it, get to there, camp there tonight, and then walk back to National Park tomorrow. And then on Monday I'll get picked up by the canoe company that I'm doing Wanganui River with. Once I complete all of that, it's into the Tararuas, up to Palmerston and into the Tararuas, and then finish the North Island, get down to that South Island. Anyway, we shall see what this Tongariro Crossing has to offer.
(8:12), Saturday the 3rd of February, and here I am sitting outside the Magnificence hut watching the sun go down, and I'm sitting next to a young German fella by the name of Nick, who was one of the early arrivals here. Now it's a chocker hut in there. and you've got a bed in there, haven't you?
Yeah, it's getting pretty full now, but yeah, I came early and got a spare bed.
Now, you've got an interesting relationship with New Zealand. You've been out here studying and working. So what when I spoke to you earlier, you said, well, it's just like lots of Germans when they leave school coming to New Zealand is just part of the gig.
Yeah, it's getting more and more famous. So we actually cut a year of school in Germany, so people are finishing very early now.
Oh,
about
really?
17, 18 years,
right,
or just turning 18 and finishing high school. So many people just take a gap, and coming to New Zealand is a very, very common thing.
And what did you do when you got here?
I've stayed in Lincoln for 1 semester abroad and studied there. I'm studying environmental sciences back home. I stayed there and then worked on a pig farm for 2 months. This one was an outdoor farm, and it's free farmed pork, Patoa Farms, next to, pretty close to Hamner Springs. But yeah, it was a great experience to work there.
Huh. And then so now you're traveling, or?
I was traveling after working on the farm, but now I'm staying actually in Hamilton, doing an internship at the Waikato Regional Council. And I'm working there with a soil scientist who is doing some research in agriculture, for example, in comparing conventional and organic farming. And yeah, I'm helping him with that, and
cool.
That's a great experience.
And what are some of the insights into that? Because I've always, for years, I've thought New Zealand should just declare itself an organic farm for the world.
That's a pretty interesting idea, but yeah, of course there are some issues with organic farming you have to think about.
Sleeping bag. It's the first time I've had the sleeping bag zipped right up with the cord pulled in around my face, so it's just my face showing in the sleeping bag. So it was a chilly night. I think just in the minuses here in the flanks of Tongariro. 6:20 in the morning. Been hearing some stirrings for a little while. I'm out in my tent. I decided to not wait for a spare bunk in the hut. It was filling up, and I don't know, the idea of being in a hut with 18, 19 other people, I kind of thought, nah, I'll just go and get my little tent, put it up. I got up a couple of times during the night, beautiful clear night, full moon, so I couldn't really see a lot of stars. It was all a bit too bright, but clear sky. So those walking out Tongariro today will get a wonderful view as opposed to my crossing yesterday. So the people in the hut who are doing the crossing, or a lot of them are doing what's called the Northern Circuit, so they're doing 3 nights in huts. They're going around, up over the crossing and then around, come out back between Tongariro and Ruapehu, but they want to get out and get going ahead of the masses. Probably going to lie in bed for another 10 minutes and then I'll start getting up and packing my gear away, having a little bit of porridge and start making my way to Whakapapa and then down to National Park. 29 k's to go. And it's a picture perfect day. Absolutely beautiful. The exact opposite of what it was yesterday. Yes, I think I did somehow sign a contract with Mother, Father, Nature that whenever I go anywhere near a location that is meant to have spectacular views, the mist and rain clouds will come in and I will have no view other than the mist in front of my face. Damn, gotta say, we interrupt this program to bring you a self-indulgent moment on my behalf, just expressing how stunning this is. Walking from Mangatapopo Hut to Whakapapa, scheduled as a 3-hour romp. That's beautiful. Just you're still up enough on the flanks of Ruapehu, and so you get this expanse view, which is wonderful, down over the bushes, and you can see the track ahead because you can see above the bushes. You see this little line running through the bush, and it's going, ooh, that's quite a long way, bugger. Because when I saw 9 kilometres, 3 hours, kind of thought, oh, cool, nice cruise. And it is absolutely stunning cruise. But then when you see that line going through the bush, kilometres ahead of you, you go, oh, right, I've still got some walking to do. But as I have experienced on Te Araroa thus far, the moments of joy and beauty and bliss, they only come because the walking was done. That's why rich people get helicopters. Well, that's it for the long way home for this week. I'm getting closer and closer to that wonderful moment that I'm looking forward to, of finishing off the North Island and moving on to the south. Catch you next week.
The Long Way Home is produced by Bruce Hopkins and Justin Gregory. Subscribe to every episode of The Long Way Home podcast at iTunes or at radionz.co.nz/series. And while you're there, please rate us. That way more people get to hear these stories. If you go to the Long Way Home webpage at rnz.co.nz, you'll find an interactive map that follows Bruce as he walks Te Araroa. Bruce is also on Twitter @BruceHop, so get in touch if you've got tips, questions, or can offer him a bed, a meal, or just a hot shower along the way. You can also email him at thelongwayhome@radionz.co.nz. The Long Way Home. Whenua whakapapa whānau. Follow us.